What's going on YouTube? Dave back again, and today I am super stoked because we got the black coach all built up, cleaned up, and ready for primer. So without further ado, let's get into it, and I want to do a quick review on this. Alright, so I tried to set up the camera so I could get the best view for you guys. I actually have this broken down into sub-assemblies, but it's just pretty much being held together by gravity, which ends up working. And I'm going to show you from my building perspective what I think will be the best way for you to lay this out so that you can paint it a lot easier. All right, one of the things I want to go over with first is, I believe this is Karn. I believe Karn the Reaper. You actually have the option of two different figures. You either have this guy, which is the driver, the coach driver, or you can do Karn. Now I haven't glued these guys down. But I wanted to give you a view of what it looks like. I think I'm just going to run a little bead of green stuff on the robes right there just to clean that up. In person you can't really see it because of the way that the glue is, but you know, depending on how it ends up looking after priming, I may just stick a fine bead of green stuff along that seam. But as you can see, very nice and clean. I got this whole seam line of this part. It's filled up. You can see the line on there, but you won't be able to see it once it's primed. Plus that's his butt, and you're not going to see that anyway. But I think they did a really fantastic job on this. He is made up of 3 pieces, I believe. The other figure that you get that can sit in his place is this one, and he's just a faceless driver. Taking a look at the coach, this is actually a really good size model. I can't wait to end up detailing this. So here is how I have it broken down. All right, so here is the chassis of the carriage itself. You've got the underside. This part attaches to a base, and then 1 or 2 of the horse hooves, the spectral ectoplasm, whatever on it, actually touches on the base. I think I'm actually going to end up raising this up off of the base. I'm more like the whole thing is floating because I want to do that fog effect. But you can see the fantastic detail that is in the wheels, the wood detail. I have cleaned this all up. Once it's primed, you won't be able to see that line. But look, you've got like all the rivet marks. You've got the little lanterns up there, the skulls, the wood. Just everything is fantastic. You've got the chains which attach to the sarcophagus. Here's a look at the other side. And these are the mounts for the horses. They just plug into the horses. And I think the best route is to glue this to the whole thing, and then mount up your horses once they're all painted. This way you can prime this in a black or your color of choice. Taking a look at the horses, this is one side of them. Got the seam lines and everything all cleaned up on those. Here's where they plug into on the yokes. And you can see that there's gaps in between the ribs. I'm waiting on some small green LEDs to show up. I'm going to be mounting them inside the horse so that it glows through the ribs and then downward. So I think that will be pretty cool. That is one side on there. And there's the other side. Here is your other set of horses right here. Got a nice little tombstone with the ectoplasm, spectral stuff off of it. I think they did a fantastic job with the sculptures. One thing I wish they had done was actually on the hex wraiths on these guys. I actually wish they had redone the horses into this style because these really show they're really dated, like really dated. So next up, we're going to take a look at the top of the coffin. It took me a while scraping and getting all of the mold lines off of the little filigree that's on here, but it was well worth it. This ghost mounts on here. This spirit mounts on over here, and then this one just plugs into the top. I actually have him separate, which will make it easier once it's all done. These have to be glued, and I wanted to do it before I ended up painting it. But this guy, he can be painted separate and then plugged in and glued down. But the details, none of them have faces. Got the seam lines all cleaned up on all of them. That probably took me the longest on all of these figures. The backside, if you want to end up seeing that. And we're just working our way down. So here is the coffin itself. You open it up. He's just sitting in there. So you can either leave that off, put this on, however you want to end up doing it. I think I'm going to have it transporting like this. But again, that is completely up to you. Great detail on it. I have glued this to this, and then this just plugs into the bottom of the sarcophagus. It raises up. I'm going to mount an LED on the underside of this so you get the green glow coming from underneath it. Here's the sarcophagus itself. You have these attachment points on here. Detail is really, really good on the cloth, on everything. The dynamics is just fantastic. This one blows the old one completely out of the water. So let me show you real quick how this ends up going together. You have the sarcophagus. Like I said, I'm going to have a green LED underneath that so you get the glow coming from underneath it. And I would suggest not gluing that, just leaving that loose until it's all painted and then glue it in. Now for this, you've got the top of the sarcophagus or the transport, however you want to name it. And again, I would glue these down because it's going to be much cleaner when you end up painting it. And then leave this loose so that it just sits on there, and then just glue it once it's all done. And then it's just going to end up looking like that. This guy just plugs into the top. And that's what you're looking at from a front shot. Now, attaching the horses is fairly simple. You can't mix and match, so see how these don't line up, but they do over on this side. So you just want to take that plug, just shove it in there. Take this one and just shove it in there. Now if you bump it, they will come loose, but if you shove it down pretty good, they're not going to go anywhere. We'll attach the other horses over here. So there are your horses attached to the carriage. For the sarcophagus, it actually sits on these 4 posts right here, right here, right here, and right here. There are little notches on there, but it can be super tricky. But if you're just static posing it, you know, in between painting and everything, it will fit just fine. But if you pick it up and tilt it, twist it, things like that, things are going to come loose until you have everything all glued down. And then you just attach your driver. He just kind of sits on there like that. And there you go. Now I actually ended up picking this up for $94, prime shipped on Amazon. There will be a link down in the description, so definitely check that out. I think this is probably one of the best models that GW has come out with, especially for the Nighthaunts or any of the other factions as far as the big pieces. Yeah, I think it is well worth the money. I would definitely pick one up, even if you're not into the Nighthaunts and you just want something that's going to be a challenge to build and paint and customize things like that. This is going to be awesome for you. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me again. If you like this video and you want to see more, definitely click that like button, click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and definitely stick around. I haven't decided yet if I want to do a live video of just me priming this up, or if I just end up recording it how I want to end up priming it. It is going to be primed in different colors, so black for a majority of it, and then for all the spirits and the horses, those will be done in white. If you want to see a live video on that, just make a comment down there in live. Or if you just want to see a sped up quick video of it, just say sped up. As usual, YouTube, I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.